In stealth games, you sneak. I like stealth games a lot. I love stealth games. A lot of games have stealth mechanics. Some good, some bad, and some terrible. But what does good stealth even mean? Good stealth is stealth that feels realistic. Like if the developers actually put some effort in the stealth system, it shouldn't feel cheap. In a good stealth game, if a guard sees you, but only for a second or so, the guard should check if what he saw was an intruder or not, depending on how long he saw you. Now that is a good example of good stealth. Bad stealth is when the AI is so predictable that you know exactly how it's going to go down. Let's say you're in the exact same situation as in the good stealth game. This time, the guard won't see you unless that sightline icon is filled. So you could just go ahead and keep peeking over and they won't notice you unless you stop crouching. Now terrible stealth is something else, because in terrible stealth, it's either just some scripted sequence or you're going to get into combat before the guard even turns to look at you. Either that or you get spotted when you reach that area. Best way to say it is the game has little to no stealth. With examples of stealth quality out of the way, let's talk about some good stealth mechanics, starting with the progress in the one and only Metal Gear series. We're going to first talk about Metal Gear Solid 2 as I can't emulate Metal Gear Solid 1 unless I play the Twin Snakes. For Twin Snakes is pretty much just a Metal Gear Solid 2ification of Metal Gear Solid 1. So there would really be no actual reason as I would just be talking about Metal Gear Solid 2 stealth, as it has everything that Metal Gear Solid 2 has. Anyway, Metal Gear Solid 2. This game compared to the first game on the PSX, PlayStation 1 for you idiots who don't know, had so much of an upgrade. I'm going to be here all day. They added tranquilizer guns, first person aiming mode, and had a huge upgrade in visuals compared to the first game on the PSX. This game's stealth feels well done, as it is the main way you would be playing the game after all. There's even a radar that shows you where everything is. Even map geometry can be seen. In any other game when you get spotted, that's it, stealth over, time for a shootout for the rest of the level. But not in Metal Gear Solid 2. Instead you have alert stages when you get spotted, and the guards will attack you and call for reinforcements. These last for around a minute or so, but if they see you again the timer resets. After the alert stage ends and you haven't been caught, you'll go into the evasion stage. The evasion stage is a stage where guards are still looking around for you and they know you're around. The player will have guards following the player in pursuit. They'll search for the player for a set period of time. The guards can perform a clearing too. This means that the guards will conduct a sweep of the area and clean out any spots where they suspect the player may be hiding. When the clearing is complete, or after searching for a certain period of time, the enemy soldiers will switch back to caution mode. Caution mode takes like 5 seconds to end. All that happens during caution mode is the same line saying to increase security. After that, all the guards go back to normal mode. For a game that came out in late 2001, this is really impressive stealth. But this game in Metal Gear Solid 1 didn't have the insane changes that Metal Gear Solid 3 had. People call Metal Gear Solid 3 the best Metal Gear game, and I see why. The stealth is the hardest stealth in the series to get right, like perfect. The movement is the same, but this time you're in the middle of the jungle and have to rely on camouflage to stay undetected, which is easier said than done. Every single soldier is hard to see though, as you don't have the radar that you had in the first 2 games. Why? Because this game takes place all the way back in 1964, and Metal Gear Solid takes place in 2005, with Metal Gear Solid 2 taking place both in 2007 and 2009. The stealth is really hard as your suppressors can break and levels are a lot more open, changing from corridors to a whole jungle. And crawling is pretty much your main way to move, as you need to stay stealthy, and apparently crouch walking doesn't exist. I'm serious, you can't crouch walk in any of the first 3 games. Also, you know the alert stages? Well, now it goes from 1 minute all the way to 6 lifetimes. It's so long. Why'd it have to be so long? For the level design, so part of why the stealth is so hard. The movement for this game feels the same as the Metal Gear Solid 2's movement though. If they ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess. But it just feels weird like this. This is the point where I would talk about Metal Gear Solid 4, but I don't have any way to play it because 1. I don't have a copy of the game for my PlayStation 3 and I also don't have a capture card. 2. My computer isn't good enough to emulate PS3 games as far as I know. Like, it's been struggling to emulate the PS2 games so far. So, what game released around the release of Metal Gear Solid 4 we can talk about instead? Oh my god! Yes! We get to talk about Peace Walker! This game might look a bit ugly looking, but that's because this was a PlayStation portable game. You can finally crouch walk, but you can't crawl. What? Why? Why did you have to add the best feature in the game, crouch walking, by removing crawling? The alert system in this game is done better than ever as it has the regular length of the alert system with camera system in the game too. This game feels like the combination of all the good parts of stealth in the previous games into one brilliant system. CQC from Metal Gear Solid 3 is here too, but this time it feels like it belongs here. This time it doesn't feel like it was forgotten about only 20 minutes in. CQC is pretty useful for putting guards to sleep when you don't want to use the trank pistol as suppressors can still break. Since you can fault and extract guards that you put to sleep and no one will notice, you can use it to hide guards so no other guards can find them when they're sleeping. It's useful as it's silent and no other guards can see it and instantly go on an alert. This game has a lot of new changes I can go over. Thing is, all these things feel like they have so little depth that it feels like a dumbed down version of Metal Gear Solid 5, as Metal Gear Solid 5 adds so much depth to everything that Peace Walker did. Therefore, in my eyes, Metal Gear Solid 5 is what Peace Walker wanted to be. Oh boy, where to start? Why not start by saying this game was really hard to record? For some reason, I always have to start the recordings in the menus. No other game has had this issue, most likely just a quirk of the Fox engine. Believe it or not, this game does have a camo system. It's just the percentage was removed, kind of like what they did with the radar. That's gone too. This game has the most modern stealth system of being able to mark enemies. More modern Far Cry games have this system too, and it's really cool to see this in a Metal Gear game. And this game is an open world. No, not just one open world, 2 open worlds. Well, there's 3 open worlds if you can count Mother Base as its own open world. Yeah, Mother Base is now a place you can actually go to this time around. Speaking of things the open world games have, a day and night cycle. This is where the game truly shines. We're trying to use the camouflage technique. Needs planning. Let's start with stealth during the day. Stealth during the day is interesting, that's for sure. Using the right camouflage can help you stay hidden, no doubts there. But stealth during the day isn't recommended. It's more for people that want to play with a more combat-focused approach, not for gripping stealth action gameplay where you sneak around an entire base of soldiers with nobody knowing at all that you are there. Now, why prefer the game during the night? You know the camo system that playing during the entire day forces on you? Well, it's still here, but with a suit you can carry through the entire game. The stealth suit. This suit is completely black, which makes it brilliant for the night. The entire stealth system is made so well that it actually changes how it works, depending on the lighting. This sounds so basic, but some stealth games made so far in the 2020s don't even do this stuff. And that's just weird. Maybe because AAA devs are getting lazier and lazier? Remember when I said that the alert stages in Metal Gear Solid 3 took a while to end? Now they end after 20 minutes. It helps push the day and night cycle in open world a bit by making the alert stages more realistic. This is the best stealth game I've ever played. It felt like they knew going in that this would be a final Metal Gear game with how well made it was. And did you know it was a miracle we even got this game? Because Konami, in their infinite wisdom, attempted to sabotage the development of Metal Gear Solid 5. They cut off the internet at random times, limited access to email servers and phone lines in the company, and they even put Kojima in a different room than his development team. And far more, man, Konami is the worst company. I almost forgot to mention, but Mission 51 Kingdom of the Flies was scrapped from the game. Which was in the game because a whole new open world would be awesome. The Metal Gear franchise's type of stealth is what I'd call good stealth. But the Metal Gear franchise hasn't had any games recently. Last one was in 2015. There's more stealth games than just Metal Gear, of course. So why not play the other popular stealth games? Now, Hitman is more hide in plain sight instead of sneaking around through blind spots, cover and being silent as possible. Instead you use disguises to get through areas. It's a lot more like a puzzle game than anything, with hundreds if not thousands of different ways to play through missions. The game is so complex that it feels like a point and click adventure game. The disguises don't convince everyone. This is shown with a wide dot on people's heads. Those people you do need to sneak around. Sometimes when you're just about to kill one of the targets, you need to sneak around the area and throw whatever weapon you have at them. Because you don't always have your full arsenal. And there's a good chance you'll get spotted, so you'll need to disguise as another person. And somehow I don't realise it's you just because you put on a new shirt. Like how? How do they not realise? It's really easy to just dash into another room and throw on another Fortnite merch t-shirt. Also, Instinct is the coolest thing I've ever seen in a stealth game. It lets you see everyone through walls. It's pretty useful for trying to find the targets. Even though there's all these things that aren't too common in stealth games, you can still sneak around like normal stealth games sometimes. This game has a cover system that's extra useful for stealth. You can get behind any from couches to baths and beyond. And this game, believe it or not, has a really satisfying combat system. It feels just right and the cover system helps both playstyles. This shows how well made the game is. This is another example of good stealth. The modern Hitman games go in the good category. It's well made. But just a quick note, the combat system, it's a masterpiece. Play with combat first. Play the game as a shooter, man. The combat feels so better, like it feels much better. This time, we're going to talk about a much older game instead of a newer game. And that game is Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon. No, I'm just going to stop messing around. We're going to be playing Half-Life 5, Return of Hazard Man. No. That isn't what we're going to be playing. We're going to be playing Stealth in Video Games Extreme Extravaganza Ultra Kill Confirmed. No, we're not. We're not playing that. We're playing Ultra Cool Guy Gun World Man 12. No, we're not. We are not playing that. We'll be playing Sonic Frontiers Stealth Mode. No, we are not. Shut up. Jokes aside and filler aside, the game we'll be playing today is Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. The first game, of course. Remember when I said I had trouble recording MGS5? Well, Splinter Cell is so old that I couldn't get it to run at 1080p and I had to play it 480p. Keep in mind, this isn't a CD copy you'd find on store shelves or eBay. This is Uplay. I got this off Uplay, and at one point a random sound played and slowed my computer down so much that it took 2 minutes for Task Manager to load so I could close the game. I blame Splinter Cell for that one. The controls honestly feel like I'm piloting a plane, it's so complex. You press control for your inventory, C to crouch, scroll the wheel to change movement speed, E to pull out your pistol, and press enter to open doors and other stuff. It's a game that has not aged well. The passage of time has really killed this game. I'm shocked I could even run this game. It barely runs on modern systems. I mean, it runs at 4x3 default, and that's not a great sign. So who knows what issues there are under the hood for this game. Right, so stealth. This stealth is okay. It works, I guess. There's a light meter that shows how hidden you are in the dark, and it's a pretty important thing to keep it low. Quick advice though, don't use the pistol, even though it has a suppressor. They will know you're there, so don't use it. This game's stealth is more focused on staying in dark areas than anything else. Best way to put it is, could have been good, but it isn't. Bad stealth. What's next? Oh, another old game? Let's see what it is. Oh my god, no way! Sweet! Deus Ex! To start with Deus Ex being super old, this game is actually older than Splinter Cell by 2 years. And this game actually works. It supports 16:9 displays, so that's good. For first person stealth, this game is really good. In any third person stealth game, you can see what is on the side of that box, not in first person. So Deus Ex lets you look over for a second or two without getting spotted. If you do get spotted by only one guy, only he knows you're there instead of everyone knowing you're there, which gives you a chance to hit him with a crowbar or whatever you have on you. And they can lose where you are if you hide for a while, just like other good stealth games. This game's engine is interesting though. I don't know what engine it runs on. I guess it runs on some freakish monster combining Gold SRC and Unreal. Cause some points make me point it to Unreal and other parts make me point to Gold SRC. This game's stealth mechanics are the best I've played for a game this old. It's not just a good stealth game, it's a good game. Some people have even said it's one of the best games of all time, and I agree. It definitely is best game of all time material. The stealth has people doing the regular callouts like, huh? Who's there? And just little things like this lifts the game from good to great, as it makes it a lot more clear what they're thinking and lets you think about what to do next. This is what I call good stealth. Deus Ex is a brilliant game. So, next game here came out today as of writing this script. It's the 7th of November 2022, keep in mind. Just saying that I expect this game to be total arse. Let's go! Oh, that was cringy. Let's go. Hello Neighbor 2 is the sequel to one of the worst games ever made. And the stealth in that game was terrible. So let's see how Hello Neighbor 2 is. I'm actually kind of worried to even open this game. I hope it won't be as bad as I've heard about FNAF security breaches stealth being. This game's stealth is pathetic for a game that came from late 2022. It's genuinely horrible. The neighbor is brain dead. When he spots you, there isn't even an alert face or anything. If you just run away from him for 10 seconds, he'll forget you exist and go back to walking left, right in front of his own house. If you crouch behind a small bit of cover below him, he won't see you. He won't hear you sneaking through his house somehow, no matter what you do. This shows how bad Hello Neighbor 2 is. Even if you're on the chase, you can make the neighbor lose you by running into a closet. Even if the closet looks half open, he's too stupid to see you. Now, this isn't bad stealth, it's terrible stealth. It made me appreciate Metal Gear Solid 5 more than I do. Now, Far Cry 5. Why Far Cry 5? It's because it's the newest game that doesn't make me want to commit a war crime, and I don't feel like opening up Far Cry 3 or 4. Also, every game since 3 has the same stealth system. Now, this game's stealth is very basic. It doesn't have the depth of Metal Gear Solid 5 stealth at all. There's a crappy little bar that points out all the enemies that can see you, and they'll have no idea that you're there if the bar isn't completely filled. Even in the brightest of days, it will still work like this. Standing is like screaming your lungs out, and crouching is like going into invisible mode. It's kind of ridiculous. Suppressors don't break, and they are 100% silent, so they're super easy to abuse, which makes the stealth an absolute snore fest. It's your average generic copy and paste AAA stealth system that would have been impressive in 1999. Most modern stealth games have this pathetically awful stealth system with an AI that can't think. Now, this game doesn't have a good stealth system, and it doesn't have a terrible stealth system. It's in the middle, and the middle option is bad. This is bad stealth. Now, this next game is the most unexpected game in this video. Return to Castle Wolfenstein. Oh no, I can't. I just can't do this one. This game's stealth is terrible. It's the worst we've seen here. If you can see a guard's head, they saw you ages ago. Get ready for combat. If they see a dead guard, they'll instantly know exactly where you are, even if you're on the other side of the map. It's a game of stealth that begs you to ignore stealth. I don't even have any other words for this game. Its stealth is just terrible. It's a joke. Now, we're at the end of the videos. This video script alone took 22 days to make. So who knows when this is gonna come out? Might not even come out in 2022, might come out in 2023. I have no idea when I'm gonna get to editing this video. Hope you guys liked this video. Subscribble or whatever. What do they call it? Yeah. Bye, I'll see you, I don't know when, honestly. I have no idea what I'm even going to do for the next video. Might be a video on chicken nuggets, for all I know.